Hi guys, Sunday 21st of February 2021, Piotr here, this Liteforex Global YouTube channel, and as usual on Sunday, weekly market preview ahead of the next weekly open. We are going to discuss euro dollar, we are going to discuss oil, and we are going to discuss gold. The number one thing worth to watch is going to be US yields, right? Very important. With 10s weekly close around 135, well, there is a little bit of the nervousness when it comes to the market, a little bit of the shake, especially when it comes to the Nasdaq. Dollar was trying to keep the gain, but market realized, at least the market behavior for now is, maybe the rise, it's not real, it's not true, let's wait for 144, 150, let's have a look what we have. Your homework is to check 10-year T-notes yields, the resistance line at around 143.4 and then again 150. Maybe that's where market wanna to see first if we are going to go there, second if we are going to see any kind of the Fed reaction trying to cap the yield around these levels. Anyway, weekly chart of the euro dollar showing nothing, to be honest with you, a little bit to the upside previous week, a little bit to the downside, testing the previous week low, previous week close. So the levels close to 120, the psychological level, the hold zone 120, 119.60 crucial here. What about the daily close? Well, we have a little bit more details here in my opinion, because again, after the strong break to the downside at the very beginning of the previous week, we've seen these levels close to 121, 45.50 as a strong supply, and it was the very quick retest. Good thing from the seller's perspective, it was the reaction close below that level as well as close below the weekly open. So that was the crucial thing. So we finished the business, and based on the price action we've seen, it could turn out we might want to retest levels first to 120.50, then 120 again, right? It's all about where we are going to get the open the yields. And to be perfectly clear, guys, you have to remember, if you are going to try to trade the Tokyo session, don't forget the yields. The bond market is opening a little bit later, so we might see some kind of the attempt to push higher, but then it's all about where we are going to be when it comes to the yields, right? So when it comes to the euro dollar, still I think as long as we are below previous week high, levels close to 21.45 as a supply level. The first demand is around 120.50, but again, I think the most important levels are levels close to psychological 120 and the down below towards 1960 we discussed quite few times. So let's have a look what we have from the intraday perspective when it comes to the euro dollar. And as you can see, towards the end of the session on Friday, we were trying to keep 4 times above the weekly open. Finally, with the rising yields, market moved back and finished below the weekly open, breaking through the last demand zone I've been trying to explain, because the rest of the demand zones been after the break been retested, right? Been after the break been retested. So we have a quite clear way down, at least towards 2050 in my opinion, as long as we are below the previous week high. All right, so that's the thing related to euro dollar. Let's have a look what we have when it comes to oil, right? And when it comes to the crude, well, finally some kind of the rejection, some kind of the upper shadow negative body. That's quite interesting thing, especially that it's, well, if you do remember, we were discussing this zone. We were discussing this supply. There was some kind of the hesitation. We were discussing 50% of that being broken to the upside, and finally finishing the business, and we didn't move that high, right? Quite nice rejection when it comes to the weekly chart. So what I'm going to look for a possible swing high creation. So I'm going to look for what the high we've seen 2 weeks ago related to this supply, all right, over here. So that's what I'm going to look for. We are talking about the levels close to psychological 60 level, because what is important, we've seen the higher levels, but the weekly close was below 60. If that's the case, if we are going, and based on the risk reward ratio, if we are going to keep that the way we want to see, well, retest of that supply levels close to 53 could be in place when it comes to the weekly chart of the oil. Of course, before we will switch to the lower level when it comes to the oil, we do have to remember about the calendar. So briefly, what we have when it comes to the calendar, right? Monday, it's just German Ifo index, right? Then Tuesday, we do have the top thing. I'm talking about the Powell testifies, Wednesday Powell as well, but in the meantime, during the Wednesday Tokyo session, we do have RBNZ rate decision. Okay, so that's quite important thing. Thursday, the good chunk of the US data, and Friday as well. So well, again, quite significant when it comes to the calendar. Of course, when we are talking about the oil, so then crude oil inventories on Wednesday gonna be the crucial. Now let's get back to the chart, daily chart of the oil. All right, that's the demand, and we are testing this demand, and that's why I've mentioned the weekly that there is a possibility of swing high creation, because cannot rule it out that we are going to see the bounce out of here towards 60 level, right? And then eventually breaking to the downside, retesting. So aggressive sellers are gonna be higher, right? Between 60 and 62, okay? Because that could be the finishing the business from the daily chart perspective over here, okay? So that's the aggressive sellers. Aggressive buyers around the current level. Conservative sellers on the break of that demand and retest of that demand, right? So seeing the break of 58 and eventually retest of that level, that could be open 53 as we discussed a second ago, based on the higher time frame. Very well visible consolidation ahead of the breakout here when it comes to oil based on the daily chart. Okay, finally gold. Breakthrough important levels, hitting the stops below the latest low, right? The only thing, we not only finish the business, we move even lower, right? So very important, and what I'm gonna to look for is the reaction around the current levels, because the lower shadow, it could be just the stop count. I like from the bull's perspective, short term, just the short term, the weekly close, right? It could be potentially the catalyst for attempt to move a little bit higher, where to retest levels close to 1815, all right? If we are going to break through that level, then we might see 1870 when it comes to the weekly chart of the gold. Let's have a look what we have when it comes to the daily chart perspective, right? Because here looks like the earlier mentioned at 1815, right? Look here, 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 and there. 1815, 1820, that's the crucial, right? And the horizontal demand, horizontal supply above 1815, 1820, around 1875. To the downside, I'm sorry, to the downside, it could be the triple touch to the downside and trying to, you know, make this jumper to the upside. So short term, yes, I'm still looking for a lower levels in the medium long term, down towards 1700, even 1615, but short term cannot rule it out as long as above 1775 that we might see attempt to go higher, and the crucial line in the sand for this week around 1815, 1825. With that being said, guys, don't be trapped. Wish you good luck, see you around, take care and goodbye.